Welcome to the G-Cell Speed Shop. No, not the speed shop itself, we're actually back in my garden because I thought it'd be a good place to bring to conclusion, bring to the end the longest day bike challenge. So here it is. Well, we started some 3.5 months ago with an NTV650, and this is my bike that I made. A few things I want to chat to about. Bike, future of the bike, and of course how I did in the challenge. I'll start off with the challenge. So we got down there Friday after working quite late on into Thursday night, so 2 o'clock or 2 a.m. Thursday night we actually got this thing back together. My very good friend Rick came to help, did what he could, and Nigel, one of the fellow riders, new friend Nigel, both came down and helped me out. It's massive lake, wouldn't have got it together without them two, so special thanks out to them. While I say thanks, a special thanks out to my wife, who has borne the bad side of my stresses and stuff going through all this. But yeah, the challenge. So we got down Friday. We all met up at Land's End, rolled the bike out, went to start it, and it was ticking over fine. Tried to rev it. As soon as I revved it, it cut out. So I knew instantly we had a pretty serious problem, a ride ending problem. So while they was getting on with the ceremonial start of the ride, because the ride from Land's End to where we stayed in the hotel that night is a bit of a horrible ride out. So they actually start from the hotel on the 21st at sunrise. So while I was doing that, I fault diagnosed this. Didn't have many tools with me, definitely not enough to diagnose an electrical problem. But while I was going through it, I found that I'd wired one of the coils backwards. Easily fix. Got that sorted. At that point, they'd all left and gone back to the hotel. Give me a chance to ride the bike without any pressures and people watching me, and it rode all right. And then on the way back, at that point I'd rung one of the employees, Beck, who was taking the van home. I'd asked her to turn around and drive back to us because I thought my ride was over. So special thanks to Bex as well for actually doing that for us. Bex was on her way backwards back to me when it started driving, so took it for a spin and it was all right. So Beck agreed to stay where she was, and I'd ride the bike into the town centre. So it drove. Still tired. But it drove okay. I'm going to mix it up all the time, aren't I? It seemed okay. And then so Beck set off home. Well, I had our meal. And then came the morning of the challenge. Bike started up fine, it was all set, everybody's on gear to go. We set off riding, and straight away, as soon as we got to the long air roads, I knew I had a problem, which was it wasn't running right. It starved itself of fuel to the point where going up hills, I was restricted to like 40 miles an hour at best. And then on flats, I had to be careful, and I could do about 50, 55, but I had to be careful. It was because it was starving itself of fuel. If I give it too much, then I wouldn't make it the other side of the hill or down the hill. So straight away, Nigel pulled over, and he correctly said, we won't make it at this pace. So I told Nigel to ride on without me. Closely followed after that was the organisers of the event in the broom wagon. They pulled up behind me, pulled over, had a chat with them. They said, how's it going? So I told them straight. I said, I'm struggling. They said, well, if you're still competing or still in the race or the challenge, they'll have to stay behind me to make sure everything's all right. So I withdrew at that point. I retired and said, no, they can carry on, and I'll just carry on making my own way. So what I thought I'd do is carry on the route, see how far I could get up there, so I could do even at restricted speeds and really like limping along. And I managed to get to pit stop 1, and then I went on to pit stop 2, still following the route. And I got quite close to pit stop 3. And at that point, when I'd looked, people had left pit stop 3 hours ago, up to 4 hours before I'd even got there. They was way ahead of me. I wasn't going to make the ferry, so my journey would get even longer to route around the ferry, and then I'd still have a really terrible time trying to try this through Scotland on the reduced power. And so I decided it was safer not to. And that's where I ended the ride at that point. So I did 13 hours in the saddle, completed over 400 miles, which I think I'm still proud of that. Still some achievement. Just got beaten by time, which is always going to be what was playing against all along. It was time. I set myself a hell of a task, making this wee little iron donkey here. But that's what happened. So that's that bit. I'll cut it now because YouTube doesn't like me doing too long of a clip. So I'm just going to stop this video. So the next one is, so the bike isn't finished. What's the future for it? I did call it to everybody. I tried to pull in as many favors as I could to try and help me out with this one. So did I go over budget? Yes, I did. I would go over budget. Not by a lot, and not because I could help it. So whilst I was welding the frame, the forks took a knock and dented one of the aluminium top tubes. I did say that in the videos. So what I had to do was get hold of another set of forks. I tried my best to get the most damaged forks I could just to retrieve the bits I wanted. But then I wouldn't have had time to build them. Never built forks before again. So I took them into a motorcycle shop in Keighley, who rebuilt them for me. And there was an extra charge on that one, which I think was a reasonable charge for what he did. And the forks turned out awesome. And I do much prefer them being gold, I think, now looking at them. But pretty much I think that's... I walked far over budget. Still think I did completed what I wanted to do. But now the future, I like the bike. Rides nice. It'll ride better once I've cured the issues with the coil and the fueling starving issue, which I think is down to the fuel pump. I think the fuel pump's just had enough of me throwing it around the garage when I'm going to weld it on. So it is going to be, I am going to finish the bike. Spots will have to come off, and we'll have to have a nice paint job on this tank. Still got fuel in it. Still holds fuel. It's amazing. Can't believe you actually got this tank to hold fuel. So I will do some more videos on finishing the tank, get the frame stripped down, get this all painted, because it's going rusty now because I've had a couple of days rain and stuff. It rained a little bit on the ride. Still need to titivate that front wheels, a few paint chips on that one. But all in all, I'm really happy, and I never actually did get the clocks on. I had to rely on the TomTom on the phone. So the old clocks were just zip tied on there. Just had a tackle and some gauges to look at. So that's that bit. So I will be doing more videos. So don't key to me yet. The channel is going to carry on going. Managed to lose the reg plate on the first time I rode it because subsequently, without even thinking, but this is not enough gap here, and wheel came up, hit the reg plate, and phew, wow, that bad boy went into the bushes. So that was that gone. Lucky I had a spur, which I correctly tied to my back. Okay, again, cut this video. Give me a sec. What I won't put on the end of this video, I've got a couple of clips, a couple of selfie videos that I took from the challenge over the day from the start. One at P1 and P2, I think. Pit stop 1, pit stop 2. I'll put them on the end of this video, just so you can see the raw emotion I was going through. What I'll do now is I'll bring you in. So I'll bring you in, you have a closer look at the bike. I'll talk you through the bits that are on it, bits that are staying, bits that are going. Let's do that. That sounds like a good idea. I'll come get you. Where do we start? So the CX500 Euro tank, which was rotten, that we lead filled, everything. The favour I called on this one was my good friend Mike over at Autocorrect down in Wigan. Always does on his brain, does a stellar job. Really cool guy. He put a little bit of time. He didn't have much time. Literally gave him a couple of days. Did a bit of body work in, so epoxied, primed the tank, seal it. Did a little bit of body work, and then primed it, and that's where we're at now. This one we're getting a glossy coat, and I'm thinking of continuing the pink and white theme when I work out what I'm going to do, but I think the badges can stay. I like the badges, gives that a bit of a retro look to it. As we've said, we've got the CBR 1000 RR front forks. We soon found out that the wheel I got, we think, is off a different year, maybe 2008, because we had to fabricate a couple of spaces and whatnot to get it all fit and space the discs out. But it's on, it's working, it's proved itself, so that's all right. We're into the front. I'll go around here so I've got a bit more room. This is Honda 599 headlight. The benefits of that one is it is a twin beam headlight. Got that one for the ride through Scotland that unfortunately we never got to. Oh well. Of course, on the top was the phone holder. We've got a cigarette lighter there to do a phone charger, because that's the last minute thing that I've not got, and I had to do that. Drop bars possibly are a little bit too low, so I'm going to look into see if we can get a bar with a maybe a little bit more raised. No, I don't want a bar across here. I think it still suits the crop, but if we get one to here, I think that'd be awesome. So I don't know if that's out there. I don't know what to look for. If you do, please let me know. But that's what we're going to look for. A bit more of a rise than bars. And then we have down here, what I think is the issue, is the fuel pump. So I've got this electrical fuel pump. I can diagnose that one. Let's turn this fuel off while we're here. That'd be a good thing to do, wouldn't it, Anthony? So fuel pump's off there. Okay. Everything else down here is pretty much untouched. Frame welds, they need dressing back. We need to paint all this frame up and all the top. Seat is considerably comfy. I do like that. People don't believe me, but trust me, it is comfy. I said the reg plate has gone, so I need to get a new one of those, make a bit more space on there. Back wheel survived. Exhaust is alright, it's not too much in your face. So there we have it. That was my challenge bike. I think if we would have had it as full power, I would have been a lot further. Like I said, I was 5 hours behind at some point. I think if I would have had the power, I could have kept up with them and kept within the challenge. I just couldn't overtake cars. I was struggling on the hills. Overtaking the cars was like a big issue, because at one point I went past some wagon driver, big Arctic wagon, and I had the thing pinned at 55 going past him because he got a bit of momentum going down the hill. And then when we started going up the hill, of course, then I was down to fuel starvation. I'm like, come on, just waiting for it to fire, and it's like my carbs are empty, and it's like, come on, and then he ended up going back past me. It was like, oh man, I don't like putting wagon drivers out like that. No doubt he was calling me something rotten, but I do apologise. But there we go. If you want to still donate to my charity, it's Cancer Research UK. I believe the link is going to be open for another 6 months. So I didn't complete it. Still a very worthwhile cause. I'm not embarrassed to say that failed. A few other people failed. But the good thing is, I think I successfully did my challenge of making the bike I said I would do. So for that, that's a big tick. Okay. Don't know where the next video is going to be. I'm definitely going to give myself a couple of weeks rest time. And then I've got the garage to clean up and stuff like that. But the channel will continue. We'll start looking at more at... Again, this is going to get finished. And we'll start looking at some hot rods and stuff. Finish the F250. That'll be an interesting one. So this is where we're going to end. I'm going to show the clips now from my challenge. But thank you for everybody who has donated. At this point, we're at £860 plus gift aid, which I think is an awesome amount of money. And I want to thank everybody who has donated, and thanks for all the support I've had doing this one. But for now, this is the end of the longest day challenge that I failed. Big thumbs down. Okay, guys. See you again. Bye-bye. So this was another one of those pictures. What paints a big scene. Wheels the bike out the van. Big group of 45 people, probably more than 45, definitely 45 bikes, maybe 47 bikes. Wheels the bike out. Everybody's looking at it thinking, what blooming heck's this guy's brought? The van sets off home with Beck driving it, who works for me. Starts the bike up, starts taking over bikes. Doesn't seem like there's any issues. Goes to give the bike a rev, cuts out. Starts it again, starts first time, goes to rev it, cuts out instantly, won't rev. Got an issue. So why I'm starting to pull the bike to bits, trying to work out what this issue is, and I don't have a clue. I don't have a lot of tools with me either. I've just got the basic of tools with me. Everybody went over for the ceremonial start of the race, and I said, no, unless I can get this thing started, there's no point me continuing any further. So at this point, I'm working on the bike, I'm ringing Bex up, and I said, Bex, can you turn around and head back to me? And she'd left 2 hours previous, so she's got a little bit of a way to drive back. All the other motorbikes all get running, and they all set off over to the hotel while I'm still trying to diagnose this thing. Swaps over the coils, and I noticed that maybe it wasn't the coil. I thought it was a coil that failed at first. Swaps the coils over, I think it's not the coil. And then when I looked, I thought, do you know what? I'm sure I didn't pull those wires off in the order that I was putting them back on. Puts the coils back on, and the bike fires, and it revs. And it's like, great. So I rings up Bex. I said, right, stop where you are. And she'd passed the hotel. I said, stop where you are. I'll see if I can ride the bike to you. Bearing in mind at this point, I've never ridden this bike in this configuration. It sets off riding, and everything seems good. I can't find any much problems with it, but the really short, twisty roads, so I can't really open the thing up. But it's riding, brakes are working, test the headlight, things like that. Everything seems okay. Gets back to the hotel. Gets to the hotel, and they're all in for the meal, and I walk in like, yep, don't give up on me yet, I'm here. And everything was good. So at this point, I was all set up. I'm thinking, bike's running, we're all good. Thought there might have been a bit of issue with fueling, but thought, you know, I'll be all right. I can get on with it. So that's where we left it for that night. Back at the hotel again, getting limited hours sleep again because we had to be up for sunrise. So again, we was up at 3 o'clock in the morning again to set off that to do the longest day challenge. So that's where we're up to. So the next video is me literally on the car park of the hotel. I'm trying to be quiet because it is 3:30 in the morning. We're waiting for sunrise. It's somber. People are being quiet, just trying to get into the feel of the enormous ride we've got ahead of us. So there you go. I'll leave you on to knackered me. Bye now. 4 o'clock in the morning. Just outside of Land's End. All these nutters. Quite a summer morning. I think everybody's getting ready for the ride ahead. Nigel's on his way over. I'll give you an update as soon as we get to the first pit stop. See you in a bit, guys. So I've just got to pit stop 1 in Cirencester. Bike's not running very well at all. struggling to get 45 mile an hour at times. I think the issue we had with the coil yesterday is done damage because it's not running right. So I've got here, did speak to on the way, the broom wagon pulled us over, he had to overtake us and go past. So I don't think I'm going to make it, but I'm going to crack it on and see how far I can get. So bike's still there. I'll keep going so I can get to pit stop 2, hopefully pit stop 3. So that's near my home. Okay guys. Well, I made pit stop 2, but I'm hours behind schedule, so this is where I'll probably call it a day and head home now. So bike's still running awful, but there we have it. I tried.